Hey, this is Rod with Pilgrim's Journey. Okay, so we've been sanding on this hole the last couple of days, and so I don't know if you remember when we were doing the holes, one of the issues I had, we kept having some pinholes popped up. At first, we were thinking maybe it was water in the holes. Well, as I've been doing these upper sides of the holes, I don't know if you can see some of these marks. I've been digging these out. Let me show you something. Okay, so as we're looking, we were having the same kind of type of pinholing in the sides of the holes. These were actually all little pinholes that now we're kind of digging them out. So you can see up here. Let me show you what an original pinhole looks like. See these little, I don't even know if you can see them. See these little tiny holes? Well, those... So if you saw those tiny holes, what they do is they pop back up through your, through whatever surface you do, whether it's your primer, your final paint product, whatever, it'll end up popping back through. What I'm finding out, there must have been some contamination in the original holes. So as I dig these out, it goes all the way down through the fiberglass. So what we're doing is I'm digging them out with a Dremel, and then we'll go back and we'll put some heavy epoxy fill in them, and we'll get those kind of cleaned up, get some good substrate, so we'll have a good surface for when we put the primer on. So, but I wanted to let you kind of see, that's what we do also. If you'll notice this, my hand, I don't know if I need something, need some sugar or something, my hands are shaking. It's just one of those things that I've got to deal with on this hull, and it's probably throughout the hull. It's pretty bad on this one, so I'm getting ready to mix up some Cavasil and some filler, and we're going to fill all this back in. I've went through the whole hull and inspected it on this outside, and we'll fix this one, hit it with the filler. We'll sand that off tomorrow, and we'll kind of keep going. So anyway, just want to let you know what's happening and kind of some of the things you're going to have to deal with. So how I'm digging these out is with a little roto zip, with like a regular little sheetrock type roto zip on it, and you just go in and you dig it out down to your substrate, and you'll go back and build it up until it's firm. So hopefully we won't have the problems that we had on the bottom, but we'll let you know and see how this goes. All right, we'll see you. All right, bye. Well, hello. Okay. One of the challenges that I've had with this boat as I've gone along, I've got both holes sanded. We're having to take care of some cracks and stuff. I'll show you a couple details on that. But as I pulled all the rub rail off, we've got probably 30, 35 years of caulking and all kinds of garbage back up under there. And I had been doing it by hand. It was taking forever. So I decided let's try something radical. And so I used I guess it's kind of like a Dremel. It's a torque type tool. And let me show you that you can take this caulking off. What it's taken me a half a day to do now has taken me an hour to do. So let me show you this real quick, and just be careful. Don't gouge your fiberglass. If you do, you can do some filler, but just be careful. So let me show you this. Hang on. Okay, so we're using a rotozip tool. As you can see, you're going to run it along this line, and let me show you how this is going to work. Let me see if I can do it while holding the phone. Hang on. And so instead of taking your knife, comes right off. Okay. So that's your little hint for the day. If you're going to pull your rub rail, I had like a square teak rub rail that I'm going to have to try to find a replacement for. But like I said, you know, they had built up all this caulk, and it was hard as a rock. It was taking me with a knife blade and everything else. It was just taking me forever to get it off. This just knocks it off. You can see you can go run through a couple feet in just a few seconds. So anyway, that's your tip for the day as you're working on your boat. All right, talk to you later. See you. Bye. All right, so as you could see how that other little Dremel type tool, that was an $18 buy over at Walmart. You can pick them up at Harbor Freight. I think they're probably about 25 bucks, or you can get the actual Dremel. The Dremel tool with the same thing is about $100. So I figured for 18 bucks, I'll throw it away at the end of it, not a big deal. But let's talk a couple of essential tools as you're sanding your holes and you're working on the sides of the boat. All right, hang on. Okay, so here's the 4 basic tools that I've been using on the hull. Now you saw this little Dremel, this tool here. Now you can get the sanding option that goes on the end, which you'll use that to get into some fine places, do around your teak, stuff like that. This is a great tool for just getting into the other stuff. Now, before, some marinas make you have either a filter attachment or a vacuum attachment on your sander. I had been using this DeWalt. It's just a little 5-inch orbital sander. It's got your, vacuum bag or on the end. You can also hook a vacuum cleaner up to the end of it to control your dust, and see you got your holes for your dust. Now you can get the sandpaper for the DeWalt over at Lowe's or Home Depot. You can get them in packs of about 50 for 19 bucks. It's really a great deal, much cheaper than buying through a marine store. Now, I've changed sanding the hull to this Porter cable sander here. This is taken and probably cut my time probably about half over the DeWalt. So the DeWalt is one, but this is what we've been using lately on the sides of the hulls. We just use this to get off all of our the caulking, some really places we couldn't get to. Now you're going to need a cutoff tool. Now this is just a little cheap Harbor Freight, with a 4.5-inch cutoff wheel. We use this. We've had some bolts that have been caught, couldn't get them out, so we just end up cutting them off and then punch them out through the other side. So those are your 4 basic tools that you're going to need. All right, so I hope some of the tools helped you. That little Dremel probably saved me about 5 or 6 hours. The Porter cable over the DeWalt sander has saved me a substantial amount of time on sanding the hulls. So the key is keeping your sander flat against the hull and letting the contours of the hull work. Now you can also use a longboard, and that'll contour to the shape of the boat. I'm just trying to be careful. I did my other boat last year. I did the whole sides of the boat in all grip, and I just used that little 5-inch DeWalt sander to do the entire hull. Took forever, took me 6 weeks, but we did it. So this one, I'm hoping by the end of the week we can get it into some primer, at least on the outsides of the hulls. So hey, hope this helped you guys. If you have any questions about tools or things I'm learning along the way, let me know, and I'll try to share them in our videos. Thanks. Bye.